They say good fences make good neighbors, but nobody warned me about bad mailboxes making worse enemies. What started as a quiet life on my ranch turned into a circus the moment the HOA unleashed their self-proclaimed cop. Trust me, you've never seen pettiness reach this level of stupidity until now. Welcome to HOA Karen Chronicles. Comment which country you're watching from. Let's see how far this story goes. I've always liked to believe my ranch was my quiet little slice of paradise. Big skies, long fields, fresh air, everything most people dream of when escaping the chokehold of city living. For years, life here was calm, almost boringly so, until the HOA decided to get serious about enforcing rules. That's when they brought in James Carlton, their new enforcer, who strutted around like a wannabe sheriff in cowboy boots. He wasn't a cop, but he sure loved pretending he was, complete with mirrored sunglasses, a heavy belt buckle, and the smug attitude of someone who thought a neighborhood watch badge was the same as the FBI. The first time my mailbox got destroyed, I didn't think much of it. I figured maybe some teenager took a bat to it for fun, or a delivery truck miscalculated the turn. I shrugged, bought another, and went on with life. But when it happened again, just a few weeks later, smashed so badly it looked like it had gone 12 rounds with Mike Tyson, I knew this wasn't coincidence. People in the neighborhood started whispering that James had it out for me. Apparently, my crime was daring to speak up during HOA meetings, questioning ridiculous rules, like why they wanted to fine me for having my tractor parked on my own land, or why Christmas lights had to come down by January 2nd sharp. I wasn't afraid of Lucy, our HOA president, or her little enforcer puppet. That seemed to rub James the wrong way. I tried to handle it civilly. I called for an official HOA meeting to bring up the issue. Everyone gathered in the community hall, sipping stale coffee and eating donuts someone picked up from the gas station. When I stood up and said, "My mailbox has been destroyed twice, and I suspect foul play," James smirked like a hyena in church. He gave excuses so flimsy they couldn't hold a feather. Could have been the wind, maybe a delivery truck, not enough evidence. The worst part? Lucy nodded along with every word like he was reciting gospel. I pointed out that under 18 U.S. Code, actually 1705, it's actually a federal crime to destroy a mailbox, punishable by hefty fines and prison time. James laughed it off, saying, "Oh, come on, nobody's going to jail over your precious tin box." That's when I realized I wasn't just up against vandalism, I was up against an HOA cabal determined to gaslight me into silence. After that meeting, I walked out with steam rolling out of my ears. James thought he could play cop, Lucy thought she could play queen, and the rest of the board were just puppets nodding along like bobbleheads on a dusty dashboard. I wasn't about to let some wannabe enforcer keep smashing my property like it was a sport. If they weren't going to listen to me, I'd make sure the truth spoke louder than their lies. So I got clever. I ordered a wildlife trail camera, the kind hunters use to track deer at night. Small, discreet, motion activated with infrared so nobody would know it was watching. I set it up facing my brand new replacement mailbox, camouflaged in a tree. Every night I checked it, scrolling through boring clips of passing cars, kids on bikes, and even a raccoon trying to snack on leftover pizza someone left on the curb. Days went by without a hitch, and I almost started thinking maybe James had gotten bored of his little game. Then, bam, there it was. A clip that changed everything. The camera caught James's shiny truck pulling up late at night, headlights dimmed, and then swerving deliberately into my mailbox. The thing crumpled under his bumper like a soda can. He backed up, revved his engine like he was proud of himself, and drove off. My jaw nearly hit the floor. I didn't just have a hunch anymore. I had cold, hard evidence. At the next HOA meeting, I walked in with a grin that could split granite. Everyone sat in their usual spots, Lucy holding court at the front, James leaning against the wall with that smug smirk plastered across his face. When they asked if I had any new complaints, I plugged in the USB stick and projected the footage on the screen. Gasps filled the room as neighbors saw exactly who had been destroying my property. Some people covered their mouths, others whispered, and one old lady muttered, "Lord have mercy." But Lucy, oh sweet delusional Lucy, clapped her hands and said, "This doesn't prove anything. It could be anyone's truck." James chimed in, "That footage is grainy, could be doctored." I wanted to laugh. Doctored? The license plate was clear as day. His face even reflected off the windshield. That's when it hit me. These people weren't ever going to side with me. The HOA wasn't built for fairness. It was built for control. And if I wanted justice, I'd have to create my own kind. If you're enjoying the story so far, like and subscribe for more top-notch HOA dramas. After that last meeting, I knew exactly what I had to do. No more pleading, no more presenting evidence to a kangaroo court where Lucy wore the crown and James wagged his tail. It was time to fight fire with steel. So I got to work. I ordered a custom-made, legally reinforced mailbox, the kind built like a bank vault. Steel core, concrete foundation, bolted into the earth like it was guarding Fort Knox. According to U.S. Postal Service regulations, as long as the mailbox meets the required height, distance from the curb, and accessibility for carriers, it's 100% legal. And mine? Oh, it ticked every single box with military precision. Neighbors slowed down to gawk as I poured concrete, welded brackets, and polished the beast of a mailbox until it gleamed under the bright afternoon sun. "What on earth are you building?" one asked. I just smiled and said, "Insurance." Rumors spread faster than HOA fines, and by the end of the week, everyone knew something big was coming. Everyone except James, who couldn't resist his favorite hobby. Sure enough, it happened during the middle of the day, right when half the neighborhood was outside gardening, walking dogs, or gossiping by the mail kiosks. I was trimming hedges when I heard the familiar roar of James's truck barreling down the road. He lined up like he was at a monster truck rally and gunned it straight for my new mailbox. What he didn't realize was that he wasn't about to wreck it. He was about to wreck himself. The impact was explosive. His bumper folded, the hood crumpled like foil, the radiator hissed steam, and James's cop mobile sat there smoking in front of a crowd of stunned neighbors. Lucy came flying out of her house, screeching at the top of her lungs, "He set you up, James! He endangered your life! This is attempted murder!" I nearly dropped my hedge clippers laughing. "Murder? Lady, it's a mailbox, not a guillotine." The police arrived quickly, sirens blaring and half the block sticking around like it was free reality TV. I calmly showed the officers my wildlife camera footage and handed over documentation proving my mailbox was 100% legal. One officer nodded and said, "This is perfectly compliant. But James? He just committed a federal offense under 18 U.S. Code Caricare 1705. Mailbox vandalism is a felony." Lucy's face turned the shade of overripe tomatoes as James was cuffed in broad daylight in front of the very neighbors who once doubted me. His truck, crushed and smoking, got towed off like a defeated gladiator. The HOA's mighty cop was humiliated, and his queen could only watch in fury. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Have you had a similar encounter with a Karen HOA or anyone in the HOA board? Let us know in the comments.